Welcome to TradeNMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 16th of January, and it's getting repetitive, but a continuation move higher, still starting. And you got to remember when we talked about this, it was back in 2016, and I was, even before that, I was mentioning that this was similar to the period in the 90s during Bill Clinton, where you had the market just in a slow, continual uprise, and we saw the same things building when you do tax cuts with business-friendly environment. This is the kind of market that you expect, and it doesn't have a lot of pullbacks. And it may be surprising to some newbies, but anyone who's been around the market for decades knows that this is not that unprecedented, and certainly fits within the model of what we've been seeing here. We had the full reset, which took care of all the overbought. Brand new shakeout rising now. When we look at this, shakeout is rising. It's much lower than the previous one. So if it doesn't continue to move and take out these previous highs, or at least get above that 15 range, then we'll see the return. But until that happens, or until we get a strong DOC break with the shorts, taking some active role, but we keep seeing lower pivots from shorts in the DOC cyan, and until that changes, this is what you've got. And why not? I mean, intraday, it's been just fine. No objections to it whatsoever. I know I just kind of whizzed through the NASDAQ because there's nothing new to report other than we now come into this more neutralized cyan red green relationship. There's no real beta as far as break dramatically one way or another, and all we have is continual resets of the steel, which means short-term buyers are flush with money and can pop in at any point with new activity if they see any short attack. So I think that's going to mute things quite a bit. Euro starting its little climb back. We had the full reset. We were expecting it to make an attempt there after it came back and filled in positive extreme from over here. Still no good news coming out of Europe, so it's not really a factor. Oil holding on is going to be an interesting one. We just had more crude results suggesting big supplies. The question on that one is just overproduction when they had the little spike in prices. And this is that new dynamic with the shale and the capability for them to just kind of turn the spigot on and flood the market pretty darn quick. So we'll see if they're able to give a stabilization. Right now it does not look like. It looks like we have a continuation lower at this particular point. Gold holding on. Again, this is about inflation now more than it was when we had the little fake spike right here. We were still in an uptrend on it anyway. We had the little tensions with the rand. They still haven't gone away completely. So as the market starts getting elevated for some people, you're going to see commodities like this take off because they're going to see it as a safe haven for the volatility that could exist. But they're going to miss a lot, and when you miss the market, like happened at the end of last year, and we talked about it, you get a big jump because they kind of make up for the fact they didn't get the returns that everybody else was getting who stayed with the market as we saw it. So we had our long signals early on. The P's all formed it. The clear move of green over into the cyan that really solidified the big run that took it all the way to the top. Got over the extreme overbought. We had the magenta and that above the 15 and didn't break down into this third wave lower here where we got a clean DOC spread after having had the steel come above. Sure, this is still a clean DOC spread, but it's a DOC spread that you're going to face some heat potentially on because you have a full reset of steel. If it had stayed down below the negative 13.5, but once it broke back above, that was the indication that you were looking at another second pressure point or an opportunity to add in when you got the clean signal, which was right here. Not too far off what the exact same value was for the original magenta candle, and that one actually took a nice little run lower until we ended up with a pretty strong build, and we finally saw right here on the lower lows, we got above the negative 13.5 line, along with the crossovers, and that orange candle pops in as expected. You already had green over cyan at this point, and full reset of DOC, so that allowed for a lot of movement. And cyan under red, of course, always buy. That's been what the whole after hours market is. So in a nutshell, pretty clean, pretty straightforward, still fills back in, positive extremes. This is the kind of orderly market, and it's just spot on with what the algos see from it. So as always, trade well, and we'll talk again later.